According to yoga philosophy, which kind of factors make a person prone towards developing a mental illness? Which kind of factors are protective against the mental illness? So there are many learned people in this meeting. I would request people to kindly share their views. What do you think? As per yoga philosophy, what factors improve your mental resilience in the core? Yes, Gandhi sir.
Sir, good morning, sir. The thoughts which are not controlled or not aware of what you are thinking, and if you are go on thinking negative or any problematic they faced, it will be go on repeating because you are not aware of it and not controlling it. So it will prone to develop the mental illness. The factors which protects against the mental illness is that we should come to the awareness of particularly the prana, the breath. So when you think of the breath and observe the breath, and so, automatically the mind will be controlled and thoughts uh, will be uh, will be put a full stop to the bad thoughts or negative thoughts. So
Very good answer.
the breath and mind are interrelated.
Yes. Gandhi sir has brought, a very important aspect about thinking. When thinking goes out of control and there is more and more negativity towards it, slowly the person moves towards mental illness. And he says that breathing and mind are connected. And therefore, if the breath can be regulated and managed, also very importantly, he said that if the domain comes to the awareness of the person, then it is a protective factor. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Gandhi sir. Anybody else? Whatever that comes to your mind, you can just.
Good morning, sir. Sandhya here.
Yes, Sandhya ji.
Actually, it's my experience as well. Thinking conflicting way, like yes, no, yes, no. And mounting the conflicting things in a bigger way, certainly we get into a haywire mode. And of course, negative thought overrunning all the time, it is also disturbing the mind. But we should, one can practice. The minute I get into that infinite loop, I should be aware that, yes, I'm getting into bad loop and I should get out from that thinking by changing the work scenario. Change of job is always a relaxation. That's what our IT company slogan. So change the work and we get out from that loop of ill thinking.
Okay. So Sandhya ji, brought in effect the point that conflicting ways, when there are many unresolved things build up, or there is inability to take a decision and a lot of thinking that drains your energy. Also, she says that dukkha sanyoga viyoga, whatever is creating dukkha, you dissociate yourself from that situation. That will be a protective factor. So this is another perspective, very important one. Anybody else? Yes, Shobhana ji.
Good morning, sir. I feel when you're not your original self and you're always outward, just not moving inward, not your original self, but imitating others, I think that gets into kind of a depression because you don't do what you want to do. So that is one. And factors protective against the mental illness, probably moving inward and listening to your inner voice and being calm and not accepting everything what is coming in life and no expectations.
Very beautiful answer. Very beautiful answer.
Thank you, sir.
So Shobhana ji said that there is something called as the self-determination. That is the theory that says that you allow your inner core, your inner personality to blossom and give it a conducive atmosphere for it to flourish. That will be a protective factor. If that is not happening, if you are not able to connect to yourself, not able to give a time to be with you, Swami Vivekananda once said that at least once a day for few minutes you should sit with yourself, otherwise you are missing meeting a very wonderful personality. So not giving time to oneself, not reflecting on oneself, not connecting to one's own core, can make a person over a period of time prone to develop anxiety, prone to develop depression. Is only external, external, external. There is no internal connect. And that connect itself becomes a protective factor. Very important point. Anything else? Fine. So if there are no more points, let us see. If you look at all these factors together, very beautifully in our ancient text, they have been systematically categorized into the 10 factors, which all of us actually know, but we do not look at it in that way. These are yamas, which Patanjali describes. Ahimsa, Satya, Asteya, Brahmacharya, Aparigraha. Now these, non-violence, truthfulness, non-stealing, control over the senses, non-greed or non-possessiveness, they have been considered as the 5 yamas that actually have the protective effect on the mind. And these yamas are in exact opposite direction of the lower instincts, of the animal instincts in a human being. Okay, so they require your viveka, they require your higher order brain functions to manifest. The prefrontal cortex should be used to practice them. Otherwise, our natural tendency is by default to break them. Okay, so if these yamas are broken, then there is the entry of negativity, negative thoughts, conflicting thoughts, and those thoughts do not allow you to connect to yourself. The more you break these yamas, the more kleshas you accumulate. The more kleshas you accumulate, the more you move away from your own core, which is Sat, Chit, and Ananda, existence, awareness, and bliss. That won't manifest in your nature. You will become more and more frustrated, sad, insecure. So therefore, fundamentally speaking, all of us should self-reflect. One of the practice that we do in our clinics here, when people who have anxiety, depression, who come to us, is yama and niyama based psychotherapy. All of you can also do it. It is very simple. In fact, we can do it right now. What you have to do is just note down your scores for each of them. So the question that I will ask you is, in your life till now, on how many occasions you have broken this particular yama? Okay, so 0 means not at all, never. 10 means always. So just rate yourself. No, don't tell me your scores, but just rate yourself. First is non-violence. Non-violence will have 2 categories. One is, towards others, and second is towards the self. There are many people who are very kind to others, but they are very cruel to themselves. So opposite of ahimsa or breaking ahimsa means himsa, violence. Rate yourself from 0 to 10. How much do you have within you till now? First, towards others. Second, towards self. Include violence in your behavior, in your speech, in your thought, all together. So all of you have a score for yourself. Then go to next, satya, truthfulness, in your thought, in your speech, and in your mind, in your body, in your actions. So action, speech, and thought. Satya. How much have you followed this yama in your life till now? If you followed it If you have, how often have you broken it? If you break it all the time, you rate yourself 10. If you have never broken it, you make yourself 0. Mark yourself. Then the next one is stealing. Stealing not only the objects or material, but stealing the emotions or the attention or the credit from another person, which belongs to somebody else, but you try to take it. So in that way, rate yourself for asteya. How often have you broken the yama of asteya? Honestly, just rate yourself. It is for your self-reflection. Then brahmacharya, your ability to hold or regulate, or manage your sense organs. When you did not want to do certain thing, you ended up doing it because your senses pulled you, whether it is overeating, whether it is excessive indulgence in sexual activity, whether it is, you can say, excessive binge watching on Netflix or whatever, the digital kind of internet addiction, or you can say in any other way, too much of talking, too much of listening. Whenever you exceeded what you wanted to do, then you have broken the vow of brahmacharya. How often do you do it? If you never do it, you rate yourself 0. If you do it all the time, rate 10. Most of the time, then rate 9 or 8, like that. 50-50, rate 5. Then aparigraha. Aparigraha is non-possessiveness. Just look around in your home. How many things are there which you do not need, but you are not able to give it to others or to the needy? Similarly, what are the things that are you consider as very valuable in terms of your knowledge, in terms of intellectual property, which you feel shy of sharing with others, which can benefit them, which can benefit the society? Okay. How possessive are you in your relationship that the person you love, you are not able to share it with other people who also deserve his attention? Then you are possessive. How strongly, uh, are you able to hold on to this yama, or how easily is it broken in your life? If it is broken very easily in your life, rate yourself towards 10. If this is not broken, 0. So how greedy you are about whatever that you have, whatever that belongs to you, you hold on to it. That is aparigraha. Now all of you have a score in front of you out of 10. So you just see among these 5 yamas, which yama is getting maximum score in you. So that particular yama is your weak point. Now, if that is your weak point, then it is through this breakage of the yama that the negative thoughts, those conflicting ideas will majorly enter into your mind and move you away from your core, move you away from your inner bliss and build up klesha within your manomaya kosha. Okay, so identify the top 2. Go step by step. You cannot, definitely all of us, if you ask me, I will score above 5 in all of them. So nobody, it is very difficult to have 0 scores for any of them. So, but there are top 2 which are gaining highest score, which are your weakest yamas. You have to work on them. This awareness itself will, protect you against mental illness. Okay, this is number 1. So yamas are there to assess the weakness. Then what are your strengths? So then just rate yourself on these points again. These are your niyamas. Niyamas are things that you naturally use to cope whenever you are in a difficult situation. Okay, or these are the things which come to you naturally. So in your life so far, how often have you followed these niyamas. If you have followed all the time, rate yourself 10. If you have never followed these niyamas, rate yourself 0. So this is opposite scoring. Here, higher score means better. So, Shaucha. First, rate yourself. In Shaucha, how much do you rate? Shaucha means observing cleanliness. First, of your surrounding. Look at your house. Look at the room that you are sitting in. How clean, how tidy it is. Then look at your clothes. Look at your body. Do you take bath every day? How often do you take shower? How clean do you maintain your things? How organized you are? Open your almirah, see how organized it is. Look at your study table or whatever things that you are there, how organized it is. This is all external. So rate yourself for external shaucha, 0 to 10. Then go towards internal shaucha. Internal shaucha means observing hygiene in what you eat. Not eating too much, and being more organized, more timely in what you are eating. Then second aspect is that your cleanliness of the guts. Do you do any cleansing procedures, any cleansing kriyas to cleanse the orifices of your inner body? Like people do Laghu Shanka Prakshalana or Vamana or Panchakarma. How often? And then comes to the mental purification. Do you do any japa? Do you have any technique or any procedure that purifies the thinking process in your mind? Then that is mental purification. How often do you do it? If you do it all the time, 10. Never, 0. Rate yourself for shaucha in these two domains. Santosha. Simple question. How satisfied are you with your life at present? So far you have lived your life. How much would you rate yourself from 0 to 10 on satisfaction with your life? Okay. All the time completely satisfied, 10. Never satisfied, 0. Swadhyaya. How much time do you spend in reading spiritual scriptures, reading authentic shastras like Bhagavad Gita, Patanjali Yoga Sutra, Vedas, Upanishads, or Bible, or Quran, or whatever your spiritual texts say? How much time do you spend in reading them and then reflecting on yourself from the concepts that are given in those traditional texts, or read commentaries on those books, or connected to shastras? How much time do you spend? 10. It means that every day you do it. 0 means you have not done it any time, not at all. Then Ishwar Pranidhan. How much of your time in a day do you spend in prayer and surrender and actually remembrance of God? The smriti of God. In 24 hours, how many minutes, how many hours do you remember God? Do you remember that you are connected to God, or you have to connect to God? That is known as Ishwar Pranidhan. How much do you think that you are able to bring God into your remembrance in your life? If all the time, every moment of your life till now, God was there in your thought process, then it is 10. Never, 0. Okay. So please rate yourself on these 5. These niyamas are there to assess the strengths. So all of you now have 2 things with you. One is your weakness, other is your strength. Now, wherever you got the highest score in yamas, that is your weakness. Wherever you got highest score in niyama, that is your strength. Now you have to use your strength to remove your weakness. Okay. In fact, Patanjali goes very beautifully here. He says that whatever is the thought process that goes against your weakness, that goes against your strengths, is known as vitarka badha. So thoughts that make you break the yamas, thoughts that make you not follow the niyamas, they are all called as vitarka badhas. These are the thoughts which later on develop into mental illness. So to counter them, you have to develop the opposite thinking process. How does that happen? These vitarka badha, you understand, they are the unwanted thoughts and behaviors which are against the yamas and niyamas. Okay. So more these vitarkas, lesser the mental resilience of the person. So these vitarka are hinsadayah. It means that they are ahimsa is the yama. Breakage of the yama is himsa. Adayah means etc. You can understand it for all other yamas. And how these opposite thinking process manifest? They can manifest directly as your own action, krut, that you are doing violence. It means you have done a vitarka against ahimsa. Karita means I do not do any violence, but I ignite another person to do the violence. Then you are indirectly breaking the yama. And third way in which you break the yama is anumodita. When violence is happening in front of me, I silently approve it. That is also called as the breakage of the yama. Krit, you do it. Karita, you don't do it, but you promote another person to do it. Third, you neither promote nor do, but silently approve it. All these vitarkas which are going against the yamas and niyamas, Patanjali is very clear. They fundamentally arise from three energies, three emotional problems. Lobha, Krodha, and Moha. These are the three dysregulated emotions in the core of the personality which lead to breakage of the yamas and niyamas. So now I want you to think back. You have identified which is your weakest yama, which are the two weakest yama. Now in the next process, you have to find out whether they are being broken because of my greed, or they are being broken because of my anger, or they are being broken because of my infatuation or tendency to attach too much. These are the three tendencies. So you will be able to make a proper understanding. Okay, I am violent towards myself, and it is coming because I have excess krodha, I have excess anger within me. And he says that different individuals manifest these imbalances in mridu, madhyam, and adhimatra. Mild, moderate, and severe symptom can be there. The more severe it is, the more prone you are to mental illness. So how one should contemplate? Okay, this is coming from krodha, this is coming from moha, this is coming from lobha. Ultimately, what is the result? If I break these yamas and niyamas, what will I get? Dukkham adnyanam ananta phala. What I am going to get is dukkha. Ultimately, it is going to give me only suffering. There is no happiness in this. It will also increase my ignorance and start an unending cycle of misery, ignorance, leading to more misery, more ignorance, more misery, more ignorance, and I will keep suffering in my life. I have to break this chain. This kind of self-reflection, Patanjali calls it as pratipaksha bhavanam. Okay? So therefore, what we have to do? First, we have to understand ourselves, understand our mind, understand our weakness, understand from where this weakness is coming, what is the intensity of this weakness, and then reflect that ultimately it is only going to give me suffering. Therefore, use your viveka, use your niyamas, make your niyama into a sadhana. How to make niyama into a sadhana? Those who are into shaucha and santosha, they follow the path of karma yoga to come out of this weakness. What is karma yoga? Dissolving the I by selfless action towards upliftment of the society. This is the way through which people purify and come out of their weakness by the first two niyamas, which translate into karma yoga. Then if you score high in the third one, which is tapaha. Tapaha is using the power of will, I-ness, where people expand their I to the infinite, feel that they have that infinite potential within them, and never give up the fight. Okay, never give up kind of attitude, using the willpower to perform yoga practices that purify the mind, like performing pranayamas, performing asanas, performing chants and meditations, using the yogic techniques of inner engineering. You repair the leak through which you are leaking your energy. These are the for people who score high in thapa. Then people who score high in swadhyaya. No, you naturally have an inclination towards the knowledge. Then you use this Jnana Yoga to overcome your weakness. And fundamentally in Jnana Yoga, the question that you want to answer is, who am I? What is the source through which all this emerges? Where is the source of my creation within me? You develop a deeper and deeper understanding of your own existence. Then you remove your weakness by questioning, who is this I? Layer by layer, questioning. You go to the source of creation. Then the last, the most beautiful one is you overcome these weaknesses by surrendering to God, surrendering to a higher power, to a higher principle in your life. And you tell yourself that I do not have the power. I have tried everything. I am not able to overcome this weakness. Now, the only source of strength that I believe is my deity, my Krishna, my Rama, my Shiva, my Devi. And I completely surrender like a small child to my deity and pray that the God gives me strength. For that, only thing I can do is continuously remember my God through my japa at all the times. This is the way through bhakti yoga you remove this weakness. So dear friends, I request all of you to reflect upon these thoughts, analyze yourself and channelize your life in the direction of enhanced mental resilience and well-being. Thank you very much.